Hey y'all, how are my amazing nerds? How is your family? Mine has been sick, but negative for strep and negative for COVID, but I kept her home, and today's the first day that she's actually back at school, and I'm surprised that I have not received a phone call from the school because they're very weird about their rules, but I don't know. I also had a sick chicken, and I saved a chicken's life, so if you want to hear my story about being a chicken hero, stick around to the end and I'll tell you that story. If you are a returning listener, thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. You have no idea how much I love you. I wish you could see me doing heart hands. If I make this into a YouTube video, maybe you can actually see me do heart hands. If you are a new listener, those heart hands are for you as well. So thank you for taking the time to check out my podcast. I hope you enjoy it and you get a good laugh. Maybe escape for the next 20 to 30 minutes because that's how I like to keep my episodes. Here's how it goes down. My name is Chanel and I am the hostess. I got called out again, but this time from Kevin for saying host, not hostess. But anyways, I am the hostess of a Red Bull podcast without an intro. So here you go. You're listening to the Nerd in Texas podcast, the show that brings you useless information and fun facts about your favorite movies, actors, and fandoms. I am literally a nerd in Texas, just like you, and I talk about TV shows, movies, video games, and all kinds of stuff and things. Either stuff that I just finished binge watching, or something that I just watched and I'm totally excited about, or just stuff. So, this part is where I usually say something about this podcast being sponsored or about other podcasts, but I want to do something differently this time. I feel like I talk too much about that and it takes up too much of my time, like too much of the time before I can just get straight to the topic. So, I'll be talking about that after my topic today. So let's dive into it. I put Twitter up to the vote, and in last place, he's all that, with 8%. I might just drop that off the poll, because it is kind of stupid. Then in 35%, it's the Charmed reboot. I will be talking that on podcast, because I have a lot of things that I want to get off my chest. There are a few things that are really bothering me about that Charmed reboot, so I'm definitely going to be doing a podcast about that. And in 57%, it is Black Widow and Yelena Balova. I held off doing a podcast about Black Widow because, one, it seemed like everyone was doing a podcast or a review about the Black Widow movie, and I would have just been another podcast in the sea of Black Widow podcasts. So, I didn't want to do one right when it came out. I also don't want to give away spoilers and stuff right when things come out. So even though this is about Black Widow, this is technically about Black Widow, if that makes any sense. So I will not be giving away any spoilers about the movie just in case there's someone out there that's listening to this and hasn't watched it yet, because there are people out there. But like I said, it's technically not about the movie. So what is it about? It's about Black Widow and Yelena Balova. And I know you're like, but that's the movie. That's what the movie is about, is Black Widow and Yelena Balova. But this is more like their backstory and Yelena Belova's. So it's more about Yelena Belova's backstory. So, y'all know I love my I am I am so sorry. My IMDb. I'm probably going to keep that just because, oh man, it proves how much of an idiot I am. But anyways, IMDb describes it as the Marvel Studios action-packed spy thriller Black Widow, or Nathasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, confronts the darker parts of her ledger when a dangerous conspiracy with ties to her past arises. Persuaded by a force that will stop at nothing to bring her down, Natasha must deal with her history as a spy and the broken relationships left in her wake long before she became an Avenger. IMDb gave it 6.8 out of 10 stars. Now, Rotten Tomatoes gave it 79% of a tomato meter and a 91% for an audience score. And y'all know I don't like IMDb, but that is actually pretty spot on because I loved the movie. Now, we all know the amazing cast that it has. It's got Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, and we all know everything that she's been in. It has Florence Pugh as Yelena Balova. And let me say, like, I would go lesbian for that woman, that woman, okay? I want to be her. I want to cosplay her, okay? I want to be a BAMF like her. In case if you don't know what a BAMF is, it's a bad A mother heifer, but you use the other word, okay? Just imagine Samuel L. Jackson saying it. If that puts you in what word you're supposed to be filling in the blanks, okay? Anyways, so I saw it and I was like, where have I seen her before? What has she been in? Like, her face just like hit me, but I was like, no, that couldn't be her. That could not be her. So I looked it up. Well, IMDb, obviously. But she was in Fighting with My Family and played Saran Knight, who you also might know as Paige from WWE. Fighting with My Family is a movie that The Rock did about Paige and her backstory and her story of becoming a WWE wrestler. And so the reason why I was like, what? That can't be her is because, like, she looked shorter in that movie. So it's like, dang, she really, like, hit a growth spurt. She's like, woo, really, she looks tall, you know? And just, anyways, I love her, okay? I loved her in that movie. I loved her in The Black Widow. She's all grown up. And I want to be her, though. You know, I'm starting CrossFit. So maybe I could, like, kind of sort of be like her. I don't know. I'll get more into that later. But IMDb also confirms that she will be in Hawkeye. So I hope you stuck around for the end credits of Black Widow, because it kind of gave you a hint, kind of gave you a clue. I don't know if y'all could hear that siren in the background, but something's going on in my neighborhood. Well, not my neighborhood, but the one road that I live on. So David Harbour as Alexei. He is in Stranger Things. Stranger Things needs to hurry up, y'all. Like, Stranger Things need to hurry up and release the new season. It's supposed to release, like, new seasons, like, every Halloween. And I think they skipped last Halloween because of COVID and everything. But it's been, like, forever. Like, hurry up and release a new season, please. Rachel Weisz as the brilliant Melina. And we all know her as a librarian in The Mummy. I don't know if y'all, like, got that reference. When I was typing this up, I had it all, like, awesome in my brain, but then allergies hit my house, like, really bad, and so, you know, my kid got sick, and now I just didn't have the energy to, maybe I can do it right now. Okay, so, in The Mummy, she's, like, all drunk and talking to Brendan Fraser, and she is like, I am a librarian. So, yeah, that's what I was trying to get at with that. I don't know if I did a good job or not. But anyways, like I said, I love the Black Widow. In a way, like in this weird way, they have done the Black Widow dirty. Okay, they've done her wrong. Not in the movie. The movie was great. They had such a missed opportunity with her. And it's because of head honchos of Marvel, who are probably men. And I'm not saying all men suck. Like, y'all know. I am kind of a feminist. But when it comes to situations like this, like Black Widow, like, I don't know if y'all understand, but people have been demanding a Black Widow movie since she first showed up in Iron Man. Because if you think about it, why would you cast such a huge actress like Scarlett Johansson to play Black Widow when she was only in Iron Man for a few scenes, right? Like, why would you have such an amazing actress for that? And then she ended up developing in a whole bunch of other stories, in a whole bunch of other movies, and being in bigger roles in the other movies. But here's the deal. They would not do a Black Widow movie like everyone was demanding because they felt like a woman-led superhero movie wouldn't sell. But I beg to differ, my friends. They could have done this movie after Civil War, okay? That way, because it's kind of where it's lined up as, is after Civil War. And when Avengers Infinity War started, like, they could have had this whole backstory of where she was and whatever, and they could have had, like, banter about it, or, I don't know. I just felt like it's a huge missed opportunity for them to have actually filmed it after Civil War, instead of after Endgame and then placing it in front of, like, and placing it after Civil War, if that makes any sense. Hey nerds, you know I love helping you out. So I'm giving you a little tidbit on if you are wanting to start a podcast. I highly suggest you start it with Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast, and let me explain. 1, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So, why did they change their mind of making a Black Widow movie? Because DC broke the mold. DC makes a Wonder Woman movie and bam, they decided on a Black Widow. And at this point, there was 2 Wonder Woman movies before a Black Widow movie. So, Marvel, get on it. And even with Ant-Man and the Wasp, they won't make a Wasp movie, like a Wasp backstory movie. It's always going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp. I mean, she did get created with Ant-Man, so I get that. But there's also other female superheroes out there, Marvel, that you could be doing, like, movies for. I mean, I know we have Captain Marvel, but not a lot of people agree with that movie. But anyways, I'm getting off subject. I'm, like, ranting. Thank you for sticking with my rant. But let's get to the actual point here. The movie didn't get it right, but they didn't get it wrong either. So Black Widow and Yelena were not sisters or adopted sisters or fake sisters in their backstory, okay? In their comic book backstory. So here's the comic book backstory. They did get orphaned and put into the Red Room, and they both did train together to be spies and assassins in the Red Room. Their relationship just gets a little more complicated and a lot more crazier than that. They were actual rivals turned enemies, turned allies, turned enemies, and it kind of goes on and on like that. Yelena and Natasha were the top spies/assassins in the Red Room, but Yelena's physical abilities actually exceeded Natasha's. But she was the only one in the Black Widow program to only be put in a physical training. So she only learned physical training. So what Yelena lacks is the mental capacity to be a spy/an assassin, and that is where Nat excels. Nat was able to shut off her emotions, shut off her, I don't know, I guess, like, connections, I guess you could say. And one of her first known missions for Yelena was delivering a device which would lower the barriers surrounding Attilan, I can't ever say it right, to aid in invasion. So to invade where Black Panther is, I believe. In another mission, Nat was sent by the U.S. and the Russians. The Russians sent Yelena to shadow Nat to make sure that what they were sent to retrieve would be put in Russians' hands and not in the hands of Americans. And Yelena was tricked into thinking that Nat was dead. So something happens in that mission where Nat, something happens to Nat, and Yelena was tricked into thinking that Nat was dead. So the awesome thing about Nat is that she has a great way of getting info from people. And at one point in time, Yelena headed to Rapistan to stop Colonel Khan and the Deathless Friend. Oh my gosh, I'm doing so bad, guys. I'm doing so bad. And the Deathless Frenzy. She failed and was captured, and it was only through the efforts of Nathasha Romanoff that Khan's plans failed. Yelena realized that Nat used her, so here she thinks Nat is dead. So she goes and continues to do this other mission, and not only does she fail, but Natasha, I don't know why I say it like that. Natasha is like, surprise, I'm alive, and I'm going to make it seem like you failed at your mission, and I'm going to make Khan, have his plans fail, and surprise. So, Yelena realized that Nat used her to find out what Stelenko was up to, so she grew up to hate Nat, and to hate the feeling of being used. But Yelena was actually captured by S.H.I.E.L.D. Nat, Fury, and Daredevil had her face surgically swapped with Nat's, causing Yelena to lose her mind. And when it was all over, Nat tried to justify it, or Natasha tried to, I'm just going to say Natasha, y'all are going to have to deal with it, tried to justify her actions by saying that she did this to teach Yelena a lesson that spies are only used in throwaway. They're not anything special. They're not heroes. That nobody cares about them. They're just used and tossed to the side. Yelena spent some time solving the murder of her mentor, Stavrovsky. And after that, she became a lingerie model. And even started her own lingerie business and brought in millions of dollars and became a huge millionaire. Maybe that's what Victoria's Secret is. That's Victoria's secret, is that she's actually a secret spy. I am convinced. No one can tell me otherwise. So you heard it here first. Victoria in Victoria's Secret is actually a spy. Anyways, so Yelena even did soft porn in some countries. Oh, Marvel. Scandalous. But she helped keep sex workers safe and actually delivered medical supplies and drugs to those who were affected by AIDS. In return for a place to stay, Yelena asked Natasha for help in extorting stolen medical supplies from Miami. To Natasha's surprise, she found that the medical supplies was from Gynecon, and that the woman, Sally Ann Carter, was actually taken by the mafia. Castrol and Martin Ferris captured Natasha in Miami and attempted to alter her mind using drugs to find out what she knew. Yelena, with the help of Daredevil, rescued Natasha, who then tracked and killed Kestrel and Ferris. And in all the madness, Natasha learned that Sally Ann has been experimented on by Gynecon, but had escaped. So that's what I mean by Nat and Natasha had a love-hate relationship. First they're enemies, then they're allies, then they're enemies, then they're allies, and it's just so confusing. But at one point in time, the Avengers confronted Yelena and another rogue S.H.I.E.L.D. agent who was illegally mining vibranium in the Savage Land. It's the Black Panther's vibranium. But when they confronted her, Dr. Karl Lykos of Saran burned the upper half of Yelena's body. And while in the ICU, a man offered Yelena a deal. He would make her extremely powerful, and she would eventually have the opportunity to kill Spider-Woman, a man with AIM, which is the Advanced Idea Mechanics. Made her into an adaptoid. Months later, Yelena attacked the Avengers in their tower. The adaptoid's powers made her indestructible, as she would mirror the powers of her attacker. So she strengthened herself by absorbing the Sentry's powers, but also weakened herself by absorbing Void's powers. Now, the man that turned her into this adaptoid realized she would not be able to kill, she was losing the fight. She would not be able to kill Spider-Woman. So he pushed the kill safe, or the button, or the self-destruct button, and seemingly killed her. Yelena later turned up alive and was working with the superhero Black Ops team Vanguard, who was again forced into hiding, and the team disbanded. After the Skrull invasion, Norman Osborn approached Yelena when she was stealing from an abandoned S.H.I.E.L.D. facility. However, this Yelena turned out to be Natasha. It's so confusing. So Osborn knew all along and used the information to his advantage to have Fury and Songbird executed. So he knew all along that it wasn't Yelena, it was actually Natasha. And so he used that information to have Fury and Songbird executed. Osborn decided to awaken the real Yelena, and who had been kept in stasis within the Avengers Tower. She was later recovered by AIM. Once again, AIM used her as a decoy. The secret Avengers tried to rescue Mockingbird from AIM Island. Yelena intercepted and fought the escaping Mockingbird. During the fight, the two of them fell behind a metal gate. Upon emerging, Mockingbird was shot by AIM. The secret Avengers took her body and realized that the deceased Mockingbird was actually Yelena, with a belt that was used as a camouflage device, like the actual Mockingbird sneaked into during the fight. Like the one that, it's a belt instead of like what Nat uses in the movies to like make her look like somebody else when she takes that thing off. And yeah, except this one is a belt and makes it look like somebody else. So Mockingbird snuck that in during the fight. So when they killed Mockingbird, they actually killed Yelena. It's just like, what? How many times do these people die? And I'm about to explain that to you. Ren Room had made several clones of Nat and Yelena to keep their best agents in case they died. A Nat clone found out about the operation and decided to take it down. She used a clone of Yelena to fake the death of one of her targets, ex-S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Sally Blevins. Sally Blevins. Oh my god. I am so sorry, y'all. I am so sorry that I can't say words. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to post this or just like completely redo it. If I post it, it's going to be for good laughs. So laugh with me, please. Not at me, but you can laugh at me too. After being sighted at the scene by Hawkeye and the Winter Soldier, Natasha had another clone of Yelena to throw them off. The Winter Soldier let this clone go after capturing her, but failed to get any information from her, and Natasha killed her when they met up. So she used Yelena as a decoy, then Winter Soldier let her go, and then Natasha killed her when they met up. So that kind of sucks. Yelena has another one of those sad stories like John Walker, and if you stick around to the end credits of Black Widow, you realize what their direction is going, what kind of path they're going down. And I had a feeling that they were going to do this because Scarlett Johansson decided to sue Disney. Disney decided to cut ties with Scarlett Johansson, in any projects that she could have as Black Widow. So it's safe to say that there will not be Black Widow anymore. I mean, she is kind of dead after Endgame. Sorry if I screwed up any spoilers, but Endgame has been out for a while. So it's hard for to do any movie. I can't stand it when people kill people off in movies and then they make a number 2 or they make a whatever and they're like, oh, so-and-so's back because we screwed up and we should never kill them off in the first place. But this isn't one of those situations. All right, so now to the other stuff. The new update, I'm going to try and be able to talk. The new update for Fortnite came out. I am extremely disappointed. I'm okay, maybe not extremely disappointed, but I am disappointed. They had this whole thing leading up to the mothership, and we got to place bombs everywhere, and we blew up the mothership. The mothership was like falling, which is a giant spaceship, by the way, is like falling to the island, and the like everyone was excited that they were possibly changing the map, because they have not changed the map in a long time. And it's kind of getting boring. So, when I went to play again, after the whole update, the map stayed the same. They only just, like, changed colors on a few things. And we've had those colors before. It's like all these fall-looking colors. And we had that during Primal. And then they just, like, it's like the same story. They just change things around. Like first we had the Guardian Towers where you get on the Guardian Tower, you step on this thing and it like shoop, and it like throws you places. Not throws you, but it shoots you off somewhere. Now they have these weird purple swirly things where you go in the purple swirly thing and it spins you around and like are actually kind of pointless if you ask me. I mean, if you're trying to run away from someone trying to kill you, you can jump in one and it'll take you somewhere. That's pretty much the only point of that. But, yeah, they have cool weapons and stuff. And you know what? I'm not even looking for a map change. They used to have, like, vaults and bosses that you had to kill and you would get really cool stuff. Now it's like, yeah, the same. There's no vaults, no bosses. Well, technically there's bosses. They have these, like, weird-looking bubble things that they call the sideways, which everyone thought it was going to be like a Stranger Things type deal, which it kind of is. It's kind of like a Stranger Things knockoff. And then, what else? So you have to shoot these little like alien robot looking things, and I die every single time because they're like impossible to kill. And they give you these cool things. But, I don't know. I'm just kind of disappointed. I thought it was going to be different. I thought it was going to be more, but it's not. And will I play anyways? Yes, I will. They now have Carnage as one of a skin that you can earn. So that's kind of cool. I thought I saw something that it was supposed to be turned into Suicide Squad because they've done Marvel before. They've done DC before. So I thought they were going to have like a Suicide Squad thing, but obviously not. So, secondly, I just want to thank everyone who has supported me, everyone who loves my podcast, who has left me a good review. I am extremely blessed in that situation where I haven't really had a bad review, and it's all been good reviews, and it's all been when I needed it. Like I second guess myself. I sit here and I doubt myself, and I'm like, why am I even doing this? And then I saw this really awesome review, and I don't know. I'm just extremely blessed that I haven't had someone like message me and hate me. You know what I mean? Because I know you're going to have haters. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, okay? There has been nothing negative said to me, and it's insane. It's crazy. It's like, I'm not complaining. I love it. I just am extremely blessed. And I just wanted to say thank y'all. I want to thank Kevin and Cassie for being my one and only Ko-fi subscriber. We talk on the daily because he is a Ko-fi subscriber of mine. I go to him and I ask for advice, what I should do a podcast about. I talk about cosplay. I talk about life stuff that he helps me out with and why I'm kind of scared to cosplay. That's kind of one of the reasons why I'm going into CrossFit. They are the first to get my stickers. I'm going to be making buttons and shirts, and of course they're going to be the first ones to get those. I want to thank Ocho Duro Parlay Hour. They have helped me so much. I can't even express how much they have done for me. And I feel like without them finding me, I wouldn't have this huge success that I have. I wouldn't have any of it. I wouldn't be anywhere. I'd still be getting like 2 plays probably. I didn't complain about the 2 plays either, because honestly, that's all I was expecting. But I want to thank Anthony or monkey_noodles on Twitter. I love the Twitter handle, by the way. He left such a sweet and awesome review about my podcast, and it was at a time when I needed it. It was at a time when I was like doubting myself, and then for some reason I randomly checked, because it doesn't notify me when I get it. I just have to kind of like randomly check. So thank you so much for that awesome review. And I know there was something on Twitter where you left the review, they were like, you could have done it this way, or you could have done it that way. I don't care. Leave it the way you want to leave it. Share it the way you want to share it. But thank you so much for that review. It was amazing. And the last one is Sean Geek Podcast. They kind of hype me up on Instagram. I'll post something on Instagram and they're like, yeah, you got it, girl. So thank you guys for that. Y'all are amazing. Again, when I'm doubting myself, you guys leave comments that, make me go, Silenzio Bruno, and silence those doubts. So I just want to say thank you. I want to get like addresses from all of y'all so I can like send y'all stickers, and when I get my button maker, I can send you some buttons and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm starting CrossFit. I was actually supposed to start CrossFit like a week ago, but Lily got sick, and there were times when I couldn't leave her home alone, and my mom couldn't be here. So I'm gonna start tomorrow. I want to train, man. I want to train. I want to eat right. I want to like lose weight, and I want to weight lift, and I want to be thick, like thick. I don't want to be rolly and overweight that I am right now. I want to be thick. I'm thinking about documenting it on TikTok, but we'll see. But yeah, I want to train. I want a lightsaber. Go to war. Okay, maybe not go to war, but I want a lightsaber. I don't know if you guys ever seen that TikTok before. It's hilarious. So thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and follow, subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. If you have found value in my show, you can leave a review or just tell a friend. And if you would like to be a supporter and receive swag early, you can send me a tip on my virtual tip jar. I leave the links in my description. So thanks for putting up with me. Thanks for putting up with me not being able to say words. I am on what are they called? Like allergy medicine, Benadryl, that type of stuff to keep me from getting sick. So I'm a little loopy. But anyways, until then, till I do another podcast, which is going to be pretty soon because I'm really late on this one. Stay nerdy, my friends. I will be putting the poll on Twitter. So you better follow me on Twitter. That way you can help decide what I talk about on my podcast. If you go on Ko-fi, you can, I forgot how much I set it at, but if you want to decide what I do on my podcast, like not vote for it and not have whatever, if you're like, Chanel, I want you to talk about this and I have to talk about it, you can go on Ko-fi and buy one of my commissions where you get to choose what I talk about. So go check out my Ko-fi page. Links are in the description. Have a nice week. It's Tuesday. We can do this. I will keep you posted about my CrossFit. So, I gotta go. All right. Stay nerdy, my friends. I love y'all. Bye.